you look at the scriptures, and Jesus is a guide. He's actually not a hero. Now, please understand this in the context. Heroes are weak, can't get the job done, ill-equipped, in desperate need of help, barely making it. That is not Jesus. Guides are never changing, already accomplished what needed to be accomplished, and now you're going to have to accomplish what they accomplished, and they're trying to bring people home. Many guides and stories actually die for the hero, so the hero can win the day. So all of this stuff comes from historical, in my Christian opinion, all story structure comes from what we would call the gospel. That's where it originated. And I realize some Joseph Campbell ideals get in play here, and that's a different nuanced conversation. But because there are a lot of religious structures that look a lot like Christianity, but none of them kind of nail it like Christianity does. But anyway, in order to play the guide, just a practical, tactical idea, there's two things that the guide does: empathy and competency. A guide understands the hero's pain. They're attuned. One of our family values in my family is we have 4 family values. One is we are grounded, we are attuned, we are fun, and we are helpful. Millers are those 4 things. That defines us. So attuned is the one that we are constantly talking about. How do you think that person is feeling? And empathy is very, very important for the guide. And the second is competency. You have to be competent to actually help them out of the hole. Every hero's in a hole. You got to feel for them because they're in the hole, and then you got to get them out of the hole because you know how to get out of holes. And so those are the 2 characteristics of a guide in a story. They are empathetic toward the hero, and they're incredibly competent to help them out. And so if we want to be that, that's what we need. And this, by the way, is incredibly important, because what the world needs in our leaders are guides, not heroes. In fact, I believe a hero will cost you. If you play the role of hero, it will cost you your objectives. I remember a buddy of mine called, who is the nephew of Jeb Bush. Jeb was running for president. He was 3% in the polls, $112 million in Right to Rise Super PAC, about $15 million in the general campaign fund, should be dominating. He's losing to a television personality called Donald Trump. So they called and said, "Can you come in?" And I said, "Pierce, your uncle's tagline is Jeb can fix it. He's made himself the hero of the story, and he's going to lose. And it's why he's at 3%. He made it about him. It's got to be about the people. He's got to be the guide helping the people win, not the hero." By the way, 2 mistakes. Jeb is the hero, and he's fixing it. I don't know what it is.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's vague.
Yeah.
So we go in, and to their credit, they knock Jeb can fix it off of everything. And 4 weeks later, he was at 12%. In South Carolina, and that's a pretty significant elevation, and of course lost to Donald Trump, who, by the way, never makes himself the hero of the story, even though he's probably a clinical narcissist. He never makes himself the hero of the story. He's always making you the hero of the story. He's always got a vision for a climactic scene, and he speaks in short, memorable sound bites that can be repeated. Pretty good. Yep. He beats Hillary Clinton. What was her tagline? "I'm with her."
Yep.
I'm the hero. Apparently just with her, we're not going anywhere.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So this stuff is really important, and people can smell it. They can smell when the story's about you, and they can smell when the story's about them.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can fake that.
I agree.
I think you've got to live it out, and life has got to wreck you a few times. And then you realize, this isn't about me. Thank God. Listen, if you can, I'll wrap with full circle. If you can get a doctor to sit you down and tell you you've got 1 to 5 years to live, and then 8 days later tell you he was just kidding, you should do that.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it will make a guide out of you real fast.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I interviewed Pete Carroll years ago. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan. He gave me 15 minutes for a quick interview, and 2 hours later, we're still sitting there talking. It was one of the best conversations I've ever had.
He has one of the most infectious personalities on camera. I can imagine what he's like in person.
Otherworldly. You have no idea. In fact, he asked me not to talk about all the things that he was up to because he didn't want football fans to get mad at him for not just focusing on football.
Interesting.
He's doing incredible stuff. But he said to me, he said, "Don, I had the luxury of succeeding early." And I go, "That's an interesting way of saying that. What do you mean luxury of succeeding early?" He said, "Well, when I was young, I won a lot of trophies for my athleticism. And it helped me realize that winning those trophies there's a diminishing return on success. And I said, diminishing return? He goes, yeah, you succeed once, it feels amazing. You succeed twice, it feels almost as amazing. You succeed 3 times. He says, it just goes down and down and down, where it's like, this isn't doing what it used to do. And he said, when I started coaching, I noticed there was no diminishing return on helping somebody else win. It just got better. And he said, I got hooked. I got addicted to it. I got addicted to other people's success. That's a guide. And he is a guide. I mean, Coach Carroll is a guide. I think that's the transformation that you're kind of looking for is, wait, how can my life get to the point where I'm helping other people win and it actually doesn't mean anything to me whether I get credit? You know, Ronald Reagan famously said, it's amazing what a man can get done if he's willing to give other people the credit.
That's good.
And that's a guide. That's the heart of a guide. You know, our founding fathers was that way. Who founded this country? A group of people, you can name 3 or 4. That's guide energy. Nobody's standing up there as the dictator.